Learner's Permit, Thursdays on my YouTube. Subscribe today. Hey guys, just want to say thank you so much to the crowd at Brea. You guys were awesome. The Night Pants Nation tour continues. Arlington, November 11th through the 13th. Cleveland, December 9th through the 11th. And La Jolla, December 17th through the 19th. All tickets are available at RyanSickler.com.
The HoneyDew with Ryan Sickler.
Welcome back to the HoneyDew, y'all. We're over here doing it in the Night Pants Studios. I am Ryan Sickler, RyanSickler.com, Ryan Sickler on all social media. All right, go to RyanSickler.com. Get your tickets for the tour, guys. Thank you to all the places I've been so far. It's been so much fun to be back out on the road, honestly, and to see you guys after a year and a half of sitting in this room and not being able to see your beautiful faces. So get your tickets. We're still rolling everywhere right now. YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. That's the way you can help. It's a free, easy way. You know, it means nothing to you, everything to us. And the Patreon, if you guys, look, man, this Patreon is, I never expected someone to solve an 18-year-old cold case on my Patreon. I never expected to talk to someone with two pussies. Okay, I never expected to talk to a woman who yanks assholes out of people for a living and doesn't even have a degree. Okay, but it's happening. It's happening on a HoneyDew with y'all. All right, $5 a month. Subscribe today, and you get a full month. If you subscribe for a year, you get a full month free. And you get the HoneyDew a day early ad free, all right? So if you or someone you know has that story has to be heard, submit it to honeydewpodcast@gmail.com, all right? That is the biz. And y'all know what we do over here. We highlight the lowlights. And as I always say, these are the stories behind the storytellers. That said, this is the first time we've done something like this. We actually have two storytellers today. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Josh and Jacob Wolf. Welcome to the HoneyDew. All right. Okay. Yeah. So, first of all, welcome.
What's going on, man?
You, man? So it's the first time I've had two guests on in this situation. I did have the Sklar brothers on back at YMH Studios. This is the first time I've had multiple people on the mic with video. We had audio early on. But thank you both for being here.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having us.
You're welcome. And this was something you brought up to me, and I thought it was really interesting because we've never done anything like this. So before we get into what we're going to talk about, please, I know you've got a special. You're on the road. You guys have a podcast. Promote it all.
All right. Well, my special came out on October 19th. It's called Here for the Fun. I will tell you, like, it's the most me I've ever put into a project. What's happened since I left LA for me has just been...
How long you been gone now?
Like a year and a couple months.
Is it over a year already?
Yep.
Jesus.
Year and a couple months.
Okay.
And I just feel good, man. I just feel good. And I've kind of cut out a lot of the outside noise. And so this special is 100% just me. Weird, fun. Since I made it and produced it and shot it and all that shit, I shot 90 minutes and I was like, you know what? It's YouTube. I'm just going to keep the 90 minutes. We kept, I would make a mistake and start over, and I don't edit that shit out so you feel like you're at the show. It's the best thing I've ever done. Without doubt, best thing I've ever done.
All right.
And it's on the YouTube channel. And then you tell them about the podcast, man.
Yeah, man. We just started a podcast called Hey Man.
Hey Man.
And it's just us, man. It's just us rambling, going about it, talking about what's going on or what we used to do, reminiscing, talking about the future, everything and anything. It's either super funny or super serious. We'll go any which way.
And, well, it's a lot also. If I get parenting questions, I'll get parenting questions, but he gets kid questions. Like, It's a lot. It's a little bit for everybody. And, he and I have definitely an open relationship.
Absolutely.
So you might hear, he's admitted, dude, he admitted to me on a stream? He was like, it's like that time I walked in on you and Mom. I go, what? Oh, yeah. I said, what?
You never do it?
No. I go, how old were you? He goes, 17. I was like, what?
It's my senior year of high school.
What?
My senior year of high school.
What?
All right, let's talk. All right. I'm excited about this because I just started doing a web series with my stepson called Learner's Permit, where he's getting his driving hours, and I'm just sitting there and telling him stories about, we're getting to know each other better through learning, and driving and shit. But this, you've come on in the past. You've told your stories about being a single dad, raising how many kids total? Three. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And are you the oldest?
Youngest.
Youngest. Okay. So I'd like to hear your point of view on the upbringing. I'm not trying to make you specifically remember stories about how your dad would steal peanut butter and jellies and Ralph's for you kids, but shit, like I want to hear like your point of view, because I was this kid. You're being raised by a single dad the way I was, and I said outside, that's against Mother Nature. It's not Father Nature. It's motherfucking nature, and it's not Father Nurture, like we said. These titties are unproductive. Right? You know what I'm saying? You can suck on them, but these are some unproductive titties.
Yeah, and if something comes out, I'm sorry.
Let me know, because I need to get that checked
you might
out.
get that checked out. Exactly.
Do I got
It
leakers?
could be hereditary,
I
too, just to let you know. So you might want to get your titties checked out.
I had a friend of mine growing up. He was like, I got leakers. I'm like, what does that mean, man?
What?
He
Is
was
that
like,
a type of
sometimes stuff
zombie?
comes out. I'm like, I don't like that. That's not
Yeah,
good.
no, you got to talk to the doctor.
You get that checked out for sure.
You got an STD on your titties, I think, man.
ST titties?
I was
as
just
a-
gonna say.
ST titties?
STTs.
ST titties.
As a kid who grew up with his dad like that, I am very interested to hear your side of things. So let's go back to the beginning.
Yeah.
You're the youngest.
I'm
all right?
the youngest.
So, all right, real quick for you, how many biological children do you have?
Him.
Just him.
Yep.
All right. So you go, well, take us to the beginning. You're born what year?
I was born March 17th, 1997.
In 97.
Yeah.
Okay. And how old are you when he's born?
28.
Okay. So you're a young man, 28. You're born 97, but you already have two kids.
I am with my ex who has two kids. Yeah.
Okay. Now, is this ex your mom?
Yes.
It is. Okay.
Biologically. Yes.
Right. Yes. Okay. But the other children are how old? Her two that you've already taken in.
Well, they were born in 92 and 93. Right. So we're talking when he was born.
Damn. And you're 97. All right. So there's a 5-year window between all these fucking kids?
Yeah.
Okay. So you come into the world and you've got what, a 5 and a 3-year-old maybe at the time?
Yep.
And where's mom?
She
But
was
your mom who had you out of her body.
Yeah. I think there was a point, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there was a point to where she was kind of there early on, like when I was, super, super young. But I think at a certain point, he took all three of us and was like, hey, I this is the best thing for them. You're not fit for this role, and I'm taking all three of these kids and gonna raise them the right way. And I think that's how it happened. But I don't know how old I was when that happened, but I know I was
what
too
you
young.
really know, you were told that, obviously, but what you really remember is what? How old do you remember, like, remembering and then being like, okay, I'm with my dad and I have these, what is a brother and a sister, right?
Yeah, and a sister.
So wait, you guys are all biologically related, right?
Technically
You're
on a half, yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
but
all
that's-
we're all blood.
That half
yes.
shit's blood,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah, we're all blood.
So
Absolutely.
you have a brother and a sister with your mom.
Yeah.
You just have him with her.
Yes.
Is the father of your brother and sister the same guy?
yes.
It is. Okay. So we have two men involved with 3 kids, but you are telling me that you're taking the 3 kids. So where's this dude?
I mean, he's out of the picture.
At the time he was, or he is
he's
now?
always been out of the
No,
picture.
he was out.
He's
I
always
think
been out of the
after.
So,
Yeah, he was out
so
after
your
number
mom's
2.
out and this guy's out.
Yeah.
Are they in their own motherfucking picture? It's like, oh, you over here and they're over here. Aren't you all supposed to be in this picture? Yeah, but we're in this one right here.
No, that dude was out of the picture. That dude was out of the picture for a minute. He was out of the picture for a minute. Look, before I could afford a lawyer, he would send like this other dude would send either birthday checks that bounced, or he would send one for like $10, but he would post date it. Do you know what I mean?
Give me 90 days. $10. All right, so wait. So you've obviously met this man and everything if you're taking his children in.
I didn't meet him pre-taking the children.
No.
This was a man that was okay with you taking his children in and not even fucking meeting you? So we know what type of person this is. At the time, everybody can change. I don't know where this is going to go. but at the time, we've got 2 pieces of shit in this picture. Is that shit on this picture? No, those are the people in the picture. Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's about exactly what it is. Yeah, that's about exactly what it is.
All right. So now at age what? When are you officially a single dad? Like when do you have all 3 of these kids with you?
I feel like 99 is the right date.
And that's when you're about 2-ish,
Yeah.
3-ish.
Yeah, somewhere around
all
there.
right. So what do you remember earliest, like moving forward from there?
Earliest, I remember that 1-bedroom or that apartment in Hollywood. I remember Bud for a brief amount of time, which
Bud
was
was
his
my
Saint
giant Saint Bernard.
who was
Okay.
gigantic and would guard me from my older brother.
Yeah, he did. He did not
he
like
hated
Trevor
my
at all.
brother because
Really?
Trevor would go and fuck with him and like pull his ears and all that, and I would just sit there with him, and I would sit, he would curl up and I would sit in his stomach. Trevor would walk by and Bud would like stand up and just
Yeah,
eye him.
he was way more Cujo than Beethoven. Truth.
Like he was also way more mom than your mom. And way more dad than their dad.
Come on.
Yeah, goddamn Saint Bernard's taking better care of these kids. for Christ's sake.
Absolutely.
Who are these people in this picture again? Something about biological. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Oh my God.
Okay, so you remember early days. When does it hit you? At what age do you realize that what's happening to you is different in school? Like, do you start talking to friends or your friends? Like, because I remember for me, just to set you up, I want to say 3rd, 4th grade.
Yeah.
People would talk about my parents are divorced, and I'm like, oh, my parents, and I didn't start not feeling like such a weirdo and an outcast. And
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. For
So
me,
your mom was in and out for a little while. You're saying, like in the elementary school years, and would that be fair?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think until I was about 13, which was around 7th or 8th grade, we went
Okay.
up. We like alternated Christmas and New Year's and summer. So we would go up for about 2-3 weeks. She lived in Washington at the time, so we would go up on vacation and hang out. I wouldn't really call it hang out, but we would go visit.
And what would you do when you visit? What do you remember?
She
up there?
worked 12 hours a day, so every time I came up, I brought my gaming console with me, or my brother had one. So that's where I learned to really how to play video games and do all that stuff. But I sat in my room and played video games for probably 12 hours a day. And then, the promise of coming back and we'll, make dinner and hang out as a family turned into, hey, there's stuff in the fridge, I'm going out. And she would just go out and drink with her friends. And
Oh, okay.
and-
So she wasn't working a 12-hour day, coming home, and be like, I'm exhausted. I'm not going to
No,
do dinner.
no.
She's like, I'm here.
She went out and did her thing because that's what she wanted to do. And so the kids, who were me and Kate, my sister, and my brother, we suffered a little bit through that for sure.
Yeah,
Because
for sure.
I didn't know about that.
Right. But
Oh,
all
yeah.
3 of them are living with you. There's not like, you're not split at the time?
Kate, my sister went back and forth.
Okay.
I know, like we all were here for a little bit until I think T was about
So
9.
They were all here for a little bit, and then she was like, "Hey, because I didn't have any rights to the oldest 2 kids,
Right.
right? And so,
But the people who did were like, we don't want
but then,
the rights.
Yeah.
then she called and she was like, "Hey, they're coming to live with me," and there was really nothing that I could do about that.
Legally, right.
But they always knew that they could come back whenever, and so my daughter went back and forth. And my oldest son, he came back for 8 months once.
He did?
Yeah.
What age?
On Bellingham.
Oh, that's where that photo's from.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Now, when they went up there, did they stay with her or did he go on his own? Your son, your oldest son.
Oh, he stayed with her.
They all
did,
stayed with
okay.
her. Yeah. They all
All
stayed
right.
with her.
And then when we visited, obviously we stayed with her and like shared bedrooms and did all that shit. But I would say probably, around like 4th or 5th grade, I started to kind of really think, because, we still visited. So to me, she was still, my mom and still who was my mother and all that shit. But then it started to dawn across me a little while later that she wasn't doing her part. She wasn't really there. And it
What made you realize that?
just not seeing her and all the false promises and everything that just fell through.
So she's telling you she's going to see you and stuff.
Yeah.
It's not like it wasn't there.
Yeah, and then maybe there was like one day out of those 3 weeks, maybe 2, that we'd spend the whole day together as like a family. But
And how would that feel?
it was, it was good.
Yeah.
And that part, it was good because that's what us as kids wanted. We wanted to just hang out with our family because we're only there for 3 weeks and we don't get to see her
Amen.
at all. So we're taking any chance we can get. And so, and
Let
that's
me
also
ask you this: what's one of the false promises that really fucking still just gut you?
Next time or tomorrow night. Like there's
Is there a
always
specific one you're like, man, she said she was going to take us to the aquarium.
I got one about him. This motherfucker said he would take me to SeaWorld when I was 4, and that was 20 years ago. What the fuck, man?
SeaWorld ain't even
bringing
there
that
right
shit
now.
up still again, man.
I mean, I don't even remember.
You say shit like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
SeaWorld.
Yeah, SeaWorld.
And it means nothing to us. That's
Wait,
the saying. That's the lesson as a parent.
Yeah, at 4? Oh, yeah, we had a little money to go to SeaWorld when you were 4.
Yeah. But
We,
But you did the right thing by not going.
yeah, in hindsight, it's a good idea.
that's right.
That's how you
Teaching
get
you a
out.
lesson.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Okay, so mom's making false promises and stuff, and you're living with dad at the time.
Yeah. I was
Okay.
Only ever lived.
only
Right.
ever lived with him.
I got full custody of him. She never showed up
Right.
in court.
Wait,
So when she just didn't show up. She gets served. My brother, I go, hey, can you serve so and so? And he was like, yeah. So I remember him calling me and going, what should I wear? I'm like, this isn't a TV show, dude. You're not a cop. Just put your jeans on and
Yeah.
a t-shirt and hand her the envelope. He was like, but should I wear sunglasses? I'm like,
is it gonna be sunny?
I don't know how to answer that, man.
You don't need an outfit to do that.
But yeah, so he served her and she just never showed up.
So then I have to ask you this: as a child who's had this happen to him, what does it feel like to be the one not picked? You know,
It definitely was.
did it fuck with you?
It definitely a little bit because it felt like that she wanted those two more than
Yeah.
me, or like that we were different in some sort of way.
But here's the other thing: it's tearing you apart in several ways, because now your brother and sister are going, so you're
Right.
losing that camaraderie and relationship on a daily basis.
Right.
You're also being told in your process that, hey, these two you value more, or you want more than
Right.
me, or they're better than me, or
Right.
there's something about me that you don't want. Why wouldn't you take all three of us?
Yeah, absolutely.
Was there ever a time, and I'm just asking and curious because I know where we are,
Right.
but was there ever a time where you like, I wish I had been able to go live up there at any age, where I wish I could go?
Probably right after SeaWorld. After that never happened. every year the SeaWorld thing passed.
yeah, like SeaWorld, right?
They got real killer whales up there in Washington. He's like, you're right. Go watch those.
Was there ever where you were like, for whatever she felt more fun, or it felt like it was gonna be more fun up there because your brother and sister were up there for a bit?
It only felt more fun because I was just doing something different. I was getting on a plane and like, the flight attendants would walk us up to the gate, and I was out there alone. You'd walk me to the gate, and they'd walk me onto the plane, and I'd get to get on first, and all that other stuff. So it was just like a fun experience to be able to like travel as a kid and like, just do something different.
There's finding a positive in it. Good,
Yeah,
good,
absolutely.
for real.
But I don't think there was ever a time I wanted to live with her. That's a lot of change. And
Now,
also,
let me ask you, did you not want to live with her because you knew she didn't want you? Or was it a fuck you back? Or did you really enjoy being with your dad
No,
more? Because I always enjoyed my father more.
Yeah.
Like there was just something, there was definitely something about my mom. Like I remember telling her, like, I was like, when dad tucks me in at night, I don't fucking move. You don't ever tuck me in. If you even came over and touched the bed, I kicked the sheet like, erase. I just knew you weren't a good person to me. And I always was down for my dad.
I didn't really I didn't realize it until a little later in life. Probably like, honestly, high school is when I really got the bigger picture of everything that was happening. But no, I enjoyed my life down here in LA. I never questioned it. When I think about it, and wherever when I thought about it, I was like, no, this is my home. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is where I belong, and it's here with him and my mom who stepped into the picture. Like, this is my home. And so I never second guessed it. I was sad to leave because at that time, I still thought there was a big relationship between me and my biological mother. And so it was always hard to leave because, you go 6-7 months without seeing her. So it's a bummer. And FaceTime was not a thing at that time.
I was gonna say, are you communicating, like, are you texting, calling? Is there any of that? Or is it just you see you when we see you?
There was like, I didn't have a phone, I didn't have a phone until I stopped talking to her, stopped seeing her. So
That's when you're like, now you can have a phone. You're like, all right, you done? You done?
ready? You done?
All right, let's
Here
get
you
your
go.
phone.
There you go.
That's the iPhone 3 right here, man.
Exactly.
That's right.
It's got some pre-block numbers on it. Don't worry about that shit.
Yeah, it was. I never second guessed it. This is where I belonged, and I knew that for a long time. And then looking at everything also after it, it was, and also it wasn't my choice. I know that I knew there was never a chance that I was going up there anyways. But it's also another something I desired.
There was also a period of time, dude, where you and I, just because of your age and our money situation, where we were together 24 hours a day.
Right.
He would come to auditions with me, sit next to me when he was 2. I remember in a Baby Bjorn doing an audition, whispering because I didn't want to wake him up. And the casting directors were like, that was really cute, but we can't tell if you're good or not. You know what I mean? Like, it was so, see you later.
This is for Bud Light.
Yeah.
We're going to need some volume. Yeah.
But so there was, even I think at that young age, I think he knew, like, this is where
Absolutely.
I am.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So then you get into what you said about 4th, 5th grade. You start learning about, man, my mom stops coming around. Is that when it sort of like, was that when the tie was broken?
Well, she never made the effort to come around. If anything, it was just us, going up to see her in Washington. She never.
So once you served her and she doesn't show up, I'm saying, like, did she not just go, ghost from there, or you could still see her when you went up there?
When she didn't show up, she still lived here.
Oh, she was here.
She still lived here.
You didn't know that?
No, I
Hurts
didn't.
even worse,
I didn't
doesn't it?
even know that she didn't
Hurts
show
even
up to
worse
court.
when it's not a plane ticket.
Yeah,
it's a
Yeah,
fucking car
right.
ride, a bus
Absolutely.
ride.
She bus ride.
Could have took a bus to tell the court she loved you.
God damn.
She yeah. Not even a cab. Like,
Yeah, Fred could have drove.
Yeah.
You want to tell your kid you love him? I'm right.
I'm good.
Nah, that's all right. That's all right.
Yeah, no, that was here. That was Dan served her here. The coffee bean up on Sunset.
I had to have been super young though. Like
You were, man.
So that was her answer, was a no-show. You were there.
But I was there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, she had her own issues, man.
Sure, I'm not.
She had her own issues, right?
I'm just asking, yes.
Yeah. And she had her own issues. And when that happened, she was still here. And then I don't think she moved back up to Seattle. It might have been another 8 months or so, but she was living in a different spot. And we had moved out of the 1-bedroom place into a house. And that's when it really started to it just wasn't an everyday communication.
And it's gradually started to get longer and longer in between.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the decision at 12,
13, yeah.
for him not to go back up to Seattle
That's when you were.
12, 13 is the last time that he was like, yo, you're not going back up there anymore.
I told him
And
straight
does that
up.
mean no visiting or anything?
There just was not, for my satisfaction.
Yes.
There wasn't enough. He was alone too much.
Up there.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
Look, if you got to work, that's cool. I understand that. I was a single parent who worked, and so I totally get it. But he can't be alone at night too. And remember New Year's Eve when you were alone?
Yeah, I do.
And that
Very
was-
much.
How that was that same time?
It was me, my sister, one of her friends.
You remember that time she brought you to the neighbors for New Year's Eve?
Oh, yeah, where I went and had an asthma attack and almost fucking died. And it was 2 a.m. And thank God she actually answered the phone because she was out drinking. Yeah,
So-
I remember that.
I mean, it was New Year's.
I mean, give her a break. Yes, you know what I'm saying?
I'm not gonna let you just shit on the woman the whole time.
I mean, he's right. New Year's, St. Patrick's Day, Halloween. You know what I mean? But that is when Beth and I, his mom and my
That's
wife.
why I want to ask it real quick. When does how old are you when Beth comes in the picture?
4.
Okay, very young. Okay.
Yeah,
all right,
so I was just like, here's the deal. And she and I talked, and I was like, he can't go back up there. It just, at some point, he comes back, and I'm almost like, I don't recognize this dude. When he comes back, I'm like, I don't recognize
what's
this guy.
different? Attitude,
Energy.
energy.
A little bit attitude, and just his this dude, super cool and vibey, was high strung, came back. Remember, you'd always come back making weird noises? Whoop! Or kick, 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 or some shit. Weird. Beth and I were always like, he comes back making such weird noises.
It was more with my sister.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, whatever it was. It was, but so we were just like, and he was alone a lot and not happy when he came back. And so I remember we talked to you and I was like, hey, what do you think about this? And you were like, all right.
You were comfortable with that?
Yeah, I think I finally said in that I was okay not going back up there.
Yeah, well, you felt it, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I definitely, as I got older and then looking at everything in hindsight, you go, it's not right. There's no reason for me to be up there.
But at what point, was it you weren't, because did you miss going up there?
I think the first time that I didn't go up there for a Christmas, when I was
What did
younger.
you miss though? Your brother, your sister?
I think I just missed the fact of, because look, when it was good, it was good.
That's
right?
it. Yeah.
And that's
And
the name.
change
That's the
hits.
name of the fucking game. You know what I'm saying?
That's the heroin.
Yeah.
I want that back.
Exactly. It's chasing that. So and even if it was just 1 or 2 or 3 days out of those 3 weeks, it was still something. It was still memories. It was still something I can latch onto until whenever that next time is. But when that next time didn't come and it was Christmas and it was New Year's or summer came around and I was still here in LA, I think that first time it was a little shaking, but after that it was easy because it was something I wasn't thinking about.
And would you hear from her on your birthday, or was it just a card? What sort of?
It was always a text. It's always the text on Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's and my birthday, the cheesy Valentine's Day one, all of those.
But the other 2 kids live with her.
At this time,
Yeah, at that time.
my oldest son came back when he was in 5th grade for almost a school year, and he was just like, this isn't for me. And my daughter came back in 4th.
He's like, y'all care, man.
Yeah. He was like, this.
Stop with these hugs and shit.
And listen, do you know what my daughter told me? When she spent a bunch of years, middle school up to the beginning of high school, and then went up there for high school and had to come down here and do her senior year again. But she told me, she was like, yeah, I went up there because there was no rules for high school. I know there were a bunch of things that I wanted to do that I wouldn't be able to do down here. So I went up there. And she was like, yeah, that's exactly why I went. And it was not good for her. Not good at all.
And no one without structure or
Yeah.
rules nothing's good. Yes.
Yeah. But
nothing good comes from it.
Right.
But she came back down for her senior year. I think she stayed until her sophomore year or freshman year.
She left over her freshman
year.
Yeah.
And then went up there for the rest of high school and then came back down and yeah. But he was here the whole time.
Yeah, I was here.
So, but the thing that I always look back on is okay, well, she didn't want you to come live with her, but you could have still called me every day.
Yeah, 100%. It's the fact that
she never would come down and visit. Never flew down.
Flew down once with Kirk.
Yeah, but that's to be in Sacramento for me to meet her parents that were also terrible.
Her parents aren't terrible.
I didn't have a great time. You know what was insane was the only thing I can remember from that trip is me and my brother and my sister setting 30-minute timers for each of us to rotate on the fucking computer that was that old boot up AOL shit. It was gray, it was dusty, and it's they only used it if they had to. But I remember all of us setting 30-minute timers and literally just alternating on the computer.
I know
that was
house.
all we did there.
Yeah.
So you're.
I hate those poodles too, man.
Oh yeah, those poodles.
Poodles were
Yeah, those poodles
fucking
were great.
aggressive, bro.
Your lack of having a mom in your day-to-day life, how did it affect you with Beth? Was it resistant at first, or did you gravitate right away?
No, it was right away.
Because her energy is just,
She's the best, man.
Do you consider her your mom?
That's my mom all the way around.
Does your biological mom know about Beth?
I call her by her first name. She knows. Yeah, she knows that.
Really?
Oh yeah.
But
How's
don't
that
use her
make her
first name
feel?
tonight.
No,
Okay.
not at all. Not at all.
How's that make Karen feel?
Yeah. Thank you.
I bet it fucking stings. I mean,
she's never told you how it makes her feel?
I mean, she said it's she says she understands it. And I'm like, yeah, I would fucking hope you do. Like, you keep saying you try to, get work, help yourself, and I'm working on it. But there's still never really been a full-fledged apology. Like, there's been, there's been like the small ones. You're like, oh yeah, I'm sorry I wasn't there for that or this. It's like, yeah, what about my fucking high school graduation? What
didn't show up for that?
She didn't even ask if she could come. Like, she didn't even make a fucking effort all through high school. The basketball games, the football games, the track meets, homecoming, prom, any of that shit. Like, if she would have asked and tried to make an effort.
I wasn't there for prom either.
Yeah, but.
Yes, you were you?
I was on the road.
He was on the road.
Well, he's a single dad.
Well, not at the time.
Not at prom.
Oh,
prom, no.
that's right.
He was providing, and that was okay. In high school, he did miss a good chunk of like football games and all that, but I knew the deal. He was out providing for the family and doing what he had to do and making people laugh, and that was okay because he's still
cussed us flipping dildos at the fucking studio.
Hey man, those are great times. We love that shit. But on the 3 or 4 days he was in town,
that's how we pay our bill.
Yeah, exactly. With the dick jokes. Yep.
And dicks.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
literal dick.
Apparently. But on the 3 to 4 days he was in town, he made the effort every single day. And when he was out of town, guess who was at every single game, every single event, every single time? It was my mom. And for everything. She never missed a damn thing.
So you call Beth your mom,
100%.
and your mom, whatever
Her first
name
name.
is.
That's
wow. That's powerful. How does Beth feel about that?
She knows the deal, and she knows, like, there's nothing that could happen ever that would change any of it.
Yeah, there's really no insecurity anymore either. Like, she 100% gets it.
So your mom's saying she's trying to work on herself. She's told you these things. Like, what does that mean? What is it? The work? Personal? Is it
it's
addiction? Is it a little bit of everything?
Yeah, it definitely has. I don't know if she still has, but she definitely had a drinking problem for sure. And the drinking would just turn into, like, the false promises would come from the drinking and be fueled by the alcohol. And so it was just a lot of, I'm every year we'd get that. I'm working on myself. I'm trying really hard. I'm going to therapy. I don't know how many of those were even true, because everything we heard from her for probably a decade was just shit. Like, the shit never stopped coming out of her mouth. So that was, it was just at a point to where we just took everything she said to us pretty much as that's a bold-faced lie. We just started reading every text message as, yeah, when you guys get all this, sometimes she'd put me and the siblings in a group chat and send that shit. And I'm like, then I'd go into our group chat and I'd be like, what the fuck is this, man? Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck is this?
The kids' table? Is that what
dude,
y'all call it?
that's a great fucking name.
He was telling me, he was like, she can't even send us individual texts anymore.
It's like, what the fuck?
We're just group texting this?
Yeah, god damn it, man. It's like, it just goes back to the effort. There was no effort in anything.
it.
And especially,
These people would say, like, my brother hit me up. I've been meaning to call you. I said, what stopped you?
Yeah, man.
Did somebody hold you down, take your phone? For like, what happened?
Yeah.
What do you mean? You've been meaning to? What the fuck going on?
Absolutely.
Do you need help?
Yeah.
Do you need help calling me? I can help you call me.
Needs a life alert just to fucking help dial a
But
phone.
I get it. Like, I say it all the time. If people want to, they do.
They will.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
You know what? He used to
You're
hate
pregnant.
this.
You gotta. Well, how hard is it to fucking look some shit up and be like, it's either going to be Target or some other shit where they're registered or whatever? How hard is it to find that and send them a gift or just send them some shit? You know what I mean? Like, people who want to will for sure.
What's the example? Do you remember the example I used to give you for if you wanted to, you would? Do you remember the one that? And I'll start it, and you'll be like, oh.
I think I remember it. If I told you right now.
So any example of something I'm
want to
trying
start
to get
my
him
own
to do.
podcast.
He uses this one still today, not uses the example, but still gets me to try to do this every day, is call my grandparents. Because, time is of the essence, and it's all good, and I understand that. They're both over 80, and so, we got to, just check in and say what's up.
Right.
Good man.
Which is all around fair, and I 100% get it. The example he would use when I was a kid was, hey, if I told you right now, if you called your grandma and grandpa for, even if it was 5 minutes, if it was 2 minutes, if it was 30 minutes, that there was $1 million for you in it, would you do it? And I'd be like, yeah. And he's like,
that's it.
If
you just gotta want to do it.
If you wanted it, you do it. And I'm like, fuck that, man. Like, that's not $1 million then.
That's what I was on. I was like, do they have one ready for you, bro?
I'll call those motherfuckers.
I'm I'll get the old Bluetooth to keep those bitches on all the time. Like, just talk away. Go ahead.
Fucking right. Do I remember that saying? Of course I fucking remember that.
I go, if there was a million, he'd go, I get it if there was a million. But that was the one you hated.
So in school, things like that, did you feel that you acted out? Did you act out? Did it come out in different ways? Were you bullied? Did you fight a lot? Were you angry?
What?
Can I interject? Sure. And just one thing where I think it came out, but so you can tell but I don't want to get away where I think it came out.
Oh, well, I think I also know, but
okay.
I never acted out like I was not a fighter. I was.
You did kick that dude straight in the chest.
What dude straight in the chest? What?
So early on, I didn't need him to learn how to fight, but I thought martial arts was great for confidence and concentration.
Sure.
So he was in Taekwondo, and he was a black belt by the time he was
9.
Wow. Okay.
Started I was 4.
This dude straight up could walk into the splits either way.
You could do that?
Oh yeah.
Damn.
The most flexible ever.
Like a fucking like a
pretzel.
flamingo.
Yeah,
At
man.
8, he could stand in front of me this close, but with this front leg straight
Like
up.
Karate Kid shit.
Nuh-uh.
No, I
Like
swear to
this?
God, like Karate Kid shit. Yeah, it was
100%.
It was something I also.
Crazy.
It was also something I really
He just
loved.
puts his ball back right up there. Like, look, Dad, like, I'm looking, motherfucker.
dude,
That's impressive.
He dunked on me once in the driveway, and I was like, "Yeah,
Did you
you're
feel
never."
his nuts
I go,
hurt?
"Yeah." I go, "You're never doing that again." He was like, "No, I'll be able to dunk again." I go, "Yeah, but your nuts were in
Not
my face.
over my face.
All three have to."
Yeah.
I tell people that all the
I'm
time.
hard fouling you,
Yeah,
motherfucker.
yeah, dude.
You better work on your free throws.
Yeah.
You come inside here.
When people say, "What's the one thing about childhood you just would never do again as an adult?" And for me, I'm always like, any kind of piggyback or chicken, because that's just dicks on your neck.
It is. Yeah.
Right, when you're a grown up, it's just a dick on your
It's
neck.
all just genitals on your neck.
You're like, God,
yeah, you're like, come
yeah,
on, man. What the fuck is that? A little tiny ball bag on my neck. Squirt out of your shorts, motherfucker. Oh, what is that on my neck? It's sticky. It's sticky. Get that, peel that off. Is that silly putty? What is that?
What is that? You
Get
carry
your balls
chicken?
off my
You
neck,
carry
man.
chicken skin with you?
Yeah. All right. So you didn't fight, but were you bullied? Were you picked on?
I was bullied, but not for that. I was bullied for other reasons. I was bullied because I grew my hair out. This is the longest my hair has been since I was 13. And I grew my hair out for about a year to donate to Locks of Love.
That's nice.
Because my grandmother at the time, she was diagnosed with cancer for, I think, the 3rd time. And so I was like, I'm doing it. And I stuck out that shit for a year. And it was...
Yo, he took, at school,
Yo.
he took a
They
beating.
beat you up.
Yo.
Did they know why you were doing it?
Nobody ever fucking asked. They just
wanted to verbally abuse you for the fun of it.
I will say I never got I can comfortably say I never got the shit beaten out of me when I was a kid. When I got bullied, it was all words.
Well, you
Thank fucking
kicked that
God.
kid in the chest
Well,
in
I'm
elementary
talking-
school.
But I mean more high school.
Straight
like,
up.
High school was where even when I was on the football team fucking hated me for reasons I couldn't even tell you. I had a kid pretty much. I was getting water and he just put all pads on and speared me while I wasn't looking from behind. And I went
Holy shit.
into a fence and my heels almost touched my head. And I got up so angry, but this kid's so much fucking bigger than me. And he's just got
His
he's
knees are just like your knees.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got one of those uncontrollable rages that I've seen before and on the field and aimed at
Pop
me.
that knee and let him crawl at you.
Oh
then.
yeah, man. If I could have, if I had the confidence I had now, I would have just lined up right on the line and said, "Let's do it." I was just looking out for the better of my health because he was headhunting.
I hear
Like,
you, yeah.
he was
Clearly.
coming-
He was cheap
he-
shotting
yeah.
already.
He was
Yeah.
coming to take my fucking head off and calling me out for one-on-ones, and I was like, "Dude, no! Like, I'm not putting
I'm
my
shampooing my hair, motherfucker.
Can I tell you, from my perspective, when the bullying started, it was so
It was 5th grade.
It was so
early.
weird to me, dude, and so sudden. We're dealing with a kid who was super popular, had a ton of friends. These guys all traveled in a pack, just buddies.
Yeah.
There's probably like 6 or 7 of them. And then one day, he was out.
I don't
Probably
know.
about 5th grade.
Yeah.
He was out.
Somebody saw his set.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, one of these parents saw his act and they're like, you are not allowed to hang around
cannot
this
talk
motherfucker. That's what happened. Somebody saw your shit.
But it happened one day, and it was so hard for me to watch. For Beth and I, there was such a drastic change in who he was and how he felt about himself. And I was torn, even with because here's two things that I believe. I believe that parents today fix their kids' problems too much, right? And so I feel like you're taking away their ability to problem solve.
Yep.
And they're always looking for somebody else to fix their problems. I tell my kids all
the time, I say it. That's my line is be a problem solver.
Figure it out.
Dad, this is, okay, well, what would you do?
Figure it out.
Be a problem solver.
Figure it out, right?
It's important.
So
it's so fucking important.
And so I really always leaned into the rules of the playground too. Look, nobody's going to hold them down and beat the shit out of them. Okay. But when we were at the playground and somebody took his truck and he'd come to me, I'd be like, what are you going to do? Go get your truck. Whose truck is that? Is that your truck?
Like a dog.
Well, I was like, is that your truck or my truck? It's your truck? Go get your truck. And he would walk over and grab the truck. And so like, for me, that stuff was always really important. But with the bullying stuff, I was caught because I saw the way it was affecting him. I also know as a young man, you know this, you know what doesn't help? For your dad to come into school and say, stop picking on my kid.
Yeah.
That really doesn't help.
No.
So I was like, I can't do that. I can't be that guy. And I'm not going to bring the other kids into a group in the principal's office and go, oh, you're picking on, because that's going to be worse.
Yeah.
Because now even you'd rather get picked on than ignored by everybody, which is what's going to happen to you, right? And so Beth and I was just like, we got to unless he's getting physically, all we can do is talk to him, because the other option, which is us going in, is worse. And worse for his psyche.
Sure, yeah.
Worse.
Mommy and daddy always running to my help and benefit and aid. And
I remember sitting in Sarah Colonna's office at Chelsea lately. I had dropped you off at school, and it was the first time you didn't want to go in. And you were like, and I was like, what's going on? And you were like, and you just told me, you were like, they're just on.
Did he slow-mo do it with the hair like this?
Yeah, he held up a fan.
Fucking shiny shit.
And he sprayed some shit on his face.
Hair.
Yeah.
That's a good looking hair.
But he just told me what was going on. And he was like, I dread walking through those doors every day. And I was like, ah. And I remember pre-show just sitting in Sarah Colonna's office crying like just a baby, because I just didn't know what to do for him. And it was changing my favorite part about him, which is just that personality. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
One of the things that everybody says, they're like, he's happy, man. That's a happy kid. And he shakes your hand and he's in conversations and he's present and all that stuff. And that was just going away. Mm-hmm. And I felt 100% lost. And we talked about it a bunch.
Yeah.
But
there's just not much we could do.
Well, the thing that I wanted to do was not.
No. And even as I got older, the bullying only got worse. And so that idea, as I got older, of my dad coming in and talking to the kids was way off the fucking table. Now, how'd you go and talk to the parents?
Remember we were going to talk to the parents, but then you were like, the parent's going to talk to the kid and the kid's going to tell everybody else at school.
Yep. Okay.
And I was just like, that is going to happen. Like the other kids are going to find out that we told we had to go and have a meeting. And you were like, that's not worth it for me.
Yeah. It just, it only got worse too, just for different reasons. I don't know what happened around that age of 5th grade, but everybody just started excluding you from things. I stopped getting invited to like parties and like birthdays and like summer shit. Like after we'd all play baseball and everything together too. We grew up at the same park for our whole entire childhood. We know each other's families. We know each other's parents. We know each other's siblings. Like,
were they different to you too?
No.
So they'd see you out and still talk to you and everything?
Yeah, it was all, and the parents just pretended like, we don't know.
Just don't talk about it.
Yeah, I didn't ask him like, hey, what's going on? Because honestly, that's none of my.
Yeah, it's not
like,
your business. Yeah.
They get to choose what they get to choose. You know what I mean? But it definitely left there had been one of that group.
Oh, there's a couple in that group that still leave a bad taste in my mouth.
That reached out to me about tickets to a show. And I was
no
just like,
way.
Is that right?
Dude. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna get that name later, but
okay.
That's really interesting. That's really fucking interesting. But yeah, I mean, as it got worse, the effect it had on me started to get worse too, because the insults started getting worse because we started getting older, started learning new things. There wasn't much insults in the 5th grade area. It was just more like kind of leaving me out. But 6th, 7th, 8th grade, before I cut my hair, was was rough sauce. The only good story out of that is my yearbook picture in my 8th grade yearbook.
God.
What is it?
I mean, it's a picture, man. I'll tell you that.
Oh my God.
I remember I had a bunch of friends in like yearbook club and all that shit, right? And so I'm right there to like for one of the first ones in line to get the yearbook because it was important to get your yearbook first so everybody could sign it, all that shit. And dude comes out of where he had the yearbooks and he hands it to me and he goes, "Just want to let you know." And I go, "What? That sounds terrible. Why are you starting with that?" And he goes, "You look like a witch in your photo." And I was like,
Yeah, you look.
I was like, what kind of fucking, how do you start a conversation like that? And I opened the fucking book and I was like, oh, son of a bitch, man.
Son of a witch, bro.
Yeah, son of a witch.
He comes home and he drops the yearbook. I go, huh? What do you think? He goes, "I look like a fucking witch." And I was like, come on. And I opened it up. I'm like,
Yeah.
Hocus pocus.
That was also when I started to learn to laugh at myself. And I was like, yeah, okay, that's kind of fucking funny. That's kind of
huge.
funny. Yeah. That's all right.
A big shift.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And that was, yeah.
Because also you take the sting and the power away from anyone that's throwing shit at you. Like, you should hear what they fucking say about me at home. This ain't you. That's all you got.
Right.
You
think
know what I
about
mean?
the millions of views the stories on my YouTube page about him have.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and that's not just to tell you that I get millions of views on my videos.
And what's your YouTube channel?
But everybody knows this shit. And so they feel like they know him.
Sure.
So if you see him in public, they're not like, "Hey, what's going on?" They're just shouting embarrassing shit at him. I can't imagine. I
had somebody come to my work and just start blasting shit. On 2 separate occations, I had one guy.
What work?
Jersey Mike's. I was behind the counter making fucking sandwiches. I worked
And
there at
somebody came in and did what?
Two separate people. One woman came in. I made a sandwich, and there was nobody else in the lobby. It was just her. And as I was cashing her out, she was like, "Hey, are you Jacob Wolf? Like, are you Josh Wolf's kid?" And I was like, "Yeah. Like, how are you?" And we started had a conversation. She was like, "Would it be okay with your manager if like we took a quick photo?" And it was one of my good friends at the time. Like, it was one of my best friends. Now I'm gonna be a groomsman at his wedding in April. And he's like, "Yeah, dude. Like, it'll be quick." And I go, "Yeah." So I went in the lobby, took a photo with her, and went on. She had a great day. She became one of the regulars, and she came in, every couple weeks, and we talked still,
and that was fun.
And it was great. That's an interaction that I love.
Sure.
The other motherfucker, not so much.
Yeah,
when you come in and there is a lunch rush, and you get to the front, and I'm slicing 8 sandwiches at once, trying to remember who wanted a turkey and an Italian or a fucking Philly, and you say, "Hey, are you the kid whose dad talks about him sending dick pics?" And I'm like, "Are you?"
You said that in front of everybody.
Yeah, we had it was 12:30.
It's not me, bro.
Yo, it was 12:30 on a fucking Tuesday.
Line's outside.
And I'm like,
dude.
"Yo, come on!"
Yeah.
And I look up and I go, "Yes, sir. Now, what the fuck would you like to order for your goddamn son?" And
You got to get it a lot.
yeah, and I was like, and I started pushing his order faster. And I looked at my line. I go, "Get him the fuck out of here right now,
Because
please."
what happens to him is that they just repeat it.
And then
Dick pics. Hey, you send that dick pic?
Yeah,
Gotcha.
and then
Gotcha.
everybody else is like, "What the fuck is he talking about?" And I'm like, "Guys, I would love to have a story time."
Yeah.
That's what he's talking about.
It's screenshot.
See, that's my screensaver, man. Yeah, fucking. So I was like, the sooner I can get him out of here, the sooner I can quietly de-escalate this fucking situation and act like it never happened. That shit is not.
You
fun.
get it. Yeah. And even when he comes to my shows, man, I try to always be like, because when he comes on stage, I always try to be like, when people ask about the dick pics or whatever, there's a video about him ordering porn and blaming it on my parents.
Which they did.
Anyways, he gets that a lot too. Who ordered the porn? Which is fun. By the way, guys, I am not complaining. I find it, one, because the story's not about me, but it's incredibly flattering. Do you know that people connected so much to it? From my point of view, it's amazing. I don't have to be the person in the story.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and for some kids, like I get, he's got a demographic now of kids who are between 13 and 18. And so that's, I can relate to those kids because I'm still not in that generation, but somewhat relatable. So when they hear those stories, I get kids who DM me and they're like, either like, "Oh my God, you're so stupid. Like, I can't believe you would do that. Keep doing dumb things so your dad has more comedy." Or, "Hey, you're an awesome person. shit happens, like love your dynamic and all that, keep up all that good shit, you make my day better. And it's like, see, there's two different sides to it. There's that one that just starts to get
I'll tell you what's
frustrating.
really hard for me to live with as a father and a human is that no matter how much he tells me it's okay and the stories are okay and whatever good residual effects I have, there's no escaping. I know social media. There's no escaping how I know it has to make him feel sometimes. And, I've tried to be like that, but list the positives and be like that, but this outweighs, there's no outweighing it for me. Like, I know, and I can hear it in his voice sometimes, it affects him. And that is a really difficult, because even the jokes, man, like, I never post them or would start telling them until I asked him, you okay with me telling this?
Yeah,
right.
You okay with me telling this? But it's like saying, are you ready for prison? You know what I mean?
For sure.
You don't know. You don't know.
You're not fucking ready. You have no fucking idea what's going to happen.
That's right.
Could have never
And
have guessed.
I can't even make up an example
Right.
of what could possibly happen. It's going to be crazier than the shit that actually happens.
Yeah, but like, I'm not ready. I wasn't ready for 11 million people. Nobody knows, right? And what
it's
comes
weird.
with that?
I'm getting people stopping me now and asking for pictures and stuff. And Stella was walking with me on the promenade, and some guy's like, "You Ryan Sickler?" I'm like, "Does he owe you money?" You know?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they're like,
yeah.
"No." I'm like, "Yeah." Then I'm him. And she's like, "Dad, is that normal?" And I'm like, "It's not." I go, "I don't care how many times you see it. I don't care how many times it fucking happens. It's not. It'll never be normal. It's not normal for a stranger to stop you and say, 'I recognize you from this thing in my hand. Can I take your picture?' With the same thing I watch you in my hand."
Yeah, it's
crazy.
but
It's
it's also
crazy.
Crazy.
It's incredibly flattering, right?
Absolutely.
incredibly
Yeah,
flattering.
but it's not. I'm just teaching
Yes.
her that's not
No,
usual.
No.
but again, the flattering part happens for me. Like, all the negative aspect of all of these flows down to
Right.
him.
You get filtered out. You get the,
Because I'm not
you
the
get
dude
shit
doing the
show,
shit in this, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
I'm the teller of the story.
The joke's not about you.
Right.
right.
And so it's like,
You gotta put your nuts on your dad's neck, right? Let me get a big kahuna.
yeah.
Oh my God.
So, it's hard for me, man.
That's a real sub. That's a sub.
No, he
bro.
said
I
no.
know. I'm
No, by the way,
factual for
right
it.
as you said that, I was like, oh, he pulled that out the fucking hat.
Oh,
right
what's in a
there.
big kahuna?
That's
Tell
the
me.
one.
A big kahuna
That's the
cheesesteak.
one I like.
It's a Philly cheesesteak, but it's got one extra slice of cheese, and it's got mushrooms and jalapenos and onions and
Yeah,
peppers.
it's got that spice.
I still
on
know
it.
know that whole fucking menu
Yeah,
by heart.
big
Oh my
kahuna's a
God.
good one.
I could name every single menu on
You
that.
liked working there for a while.
Man,
Until that shit happened.
Yeah.
Till you ruined it.
until you fucked me over. No, I enjoyed the job because also, like, I got to work with some of my best friends, like,
Yeah.
and people who are now some of my best friends to this day. People
That's good.
whose weddings I've gone to. Like I said, I'm gonna be a groomsman in one of my best friends' wedding. I had one of my best friends who worked there from high school. He also ended up road tripping with us and helping you move cross country. Like,
Oh, yeah, that's right, man.
so he was actually how I got that job there.
Yeah, he's a good dude. I like him.
So, it ended up being a great spot, and I could pursue my PA career there. So,
not PA career. You're not going to have a PA
That's
career.
right.
my film career.
There you go.
And my
There you
TV
You know what?
career.
Your career.
Yes.
Cool. Yeah.
Your career.
My
Yeah,
career.
Yeah, because
and-
what's film and TV now in 10 years? Who the
Who
fuck
knows?
Who the fuck knows?
knows?
That's
We might
exactly.
be watching shit in coffee cups. Who the fuck knows? I
Yo,
don't
that
know.
would be
kinda
actually
lit,
not
right? You're
terrible.
just drinking and watching,
Yeah.
drinking and watching on the liquid.
Or if it's in your eyes.
That's, I mean, if you put the glasses on, it is. It's all coming.
All right.
So your career.
Yeah, and that was the best part. I was there for 3 years, and I was able to take, if I needed to take 2 months off, I could get 2 months off to go do a show or whatever
Yeah.
I needed to do, and then I would come back and still get my 35 hours a week because I worked hard. They knew my spot.
Right, and
They
they
knew how
liked
good
you,
I
and-
was.
yes.
I could open, I
You
could
made yourself
close.
valuable.
Yeah, lunch rush, dinner rush, whatever it was. I was there. And I also was one of the only ones who could work or offered to work Saturday and Sunday mornings for 3 years, Saturdays and Sunday mornings. From 10 a.m. to fucking 5, I was sitting in that Jersey Mike's. Unless I called it off. But I was in there every Saturday, every Sunday. We had the red zone on the TV, so we were able to do that, which was awesome. But yeah, man,
Well, that's good
And-
work
and
a lot
ethic.
down on
by
that
the way,
ethic
and he-
instilled right there.
Yeah. And by the way, yeah.
I mean,
he-
these other two couldn't even get in the picture. They couldn't even be bothered to get in the same picture.
did you work growing up?
work, from 7th grade
Me
on.
too.
Yes.
Same here. So, and for me, I
Summer
was
jobs at my friend's junkyard all through 7th, 8th, 9th grade. We started driving. We started delivering. I'm working at old age homes. I'm working newspaper routes. I'm
I delivered newspaper routes.
Working nonstop.
And so
cutting grass,
there was
shoveling.
more opportunity for us to work before the age of 15 than it was for them.
Yes,
for sure.
True, yeah.
But as soon as he could get a job, I was like, you want money? You know what you should do? Get a job.
Yeah.
Because, for me, that was a huge, it was important for him to know, like, if I want something, I have to work and get it.
Yeah.
But he never blinked about it. He was like, yeah, that's a good idea.
I was in it. I was in for it. And when I remember dropping out of community college and coming back.
Dude, tell him that story about.
So I went to LSU for a semester and then came back, took a semester.
LSU?
The LSU.
Okay.
Louisiana State University. And
the one Jew.
Is that right?
yeah.
I was like, hey, don't mention, you don't need to tell people you're Jewish.
I mean, good. This is also the year before the Orange Man ran for
Hey,
president.
it's an LSU.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, by the way, you're going to be an undercover Jew here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. When someone
absolutely.
says dirty
This
Jew.
is where you need to worry about how you dress.
Yeah. Hey, by the way,
Undercover for this right here.
when someone says dirty Jew, just agree with them. Be like, that's right, they are.
Yep.
Let me get out of here.
Yep.
Throw something back on them.
Yeah,
Monty Grubbers. Throw that on. Yeah. Hurry the fuck up.
Oh my God. And so came back from LSU, took a semester off, worked for a semester. And then I told myself I'm going to regret it for the rest of my life if I don't go to school. Went to community college, one right in the valley, right near where we lived. And I was there for what? A month and a half, maybe?
Probably.
Not. It was a midterm. Midterm had showed up. And I was sitting in a math midterm. I'm looking at it, put my name down, I fill out half the first problem. And I thought to myself, and I sat back in my chair, I said, what the fuck am I doing here? Why am I sitting in this math class again? Like, I hate this. Like, what? I can't do it anymore. Packed up my stuff, walked up to the teacher, and I handed him my test. It's been 25 minutes since the test started. And he looks at me and goes, he does a double take, triple take. He's like flipping through the pages. Like, is this a fucking joke? Like, you did half the first problem. And I looked at him, I said, oh, I'm not coming back. And he said, what? And like the whole class stopped too. Everybody looked up because I was fucking dead silent. And I go, oh, I'm not coming back. Like, nothing against you or anybody here. School's just not for me. I'm going to do what I want to do. And I looked at my class. I turned around, peace, and I walked out. And I never looked back. And I called him as I walked out. I'm in the hallway, and he picks up the phone and he goes, hey man. I'm like, what's up? And he goes, wait, aren't you supposed to be taking a math test right now? And I go, yeah, man, fuck that. I'm out. Like, I'm not doing this anymore. If I got to sit through one more lecture, one more essay, one more fucking math midterm, I'm going to lose my shit. And I said, I was already working at a place called The Counter, which was a burger place.
Yep.
Love that spot. And I was like, I'm going to get a second job and I'm going to start doing PA work on the side. And that was 6 years ago.
Can I tell you, a couple things struck me when I got that phone call. One, I wish at that age I would have had the balls to do something like that for myself. Do you know what I mean? Like, it took me to be a lot older to be like, I don't want to
not be so scared.
I don't want to do this, so I'm not gonna. Like, it takes people a long time to figure that out, right? Mm-hmm. You say yes to a lot of dumb shit, right? He was like, yeah, that's it. And so it struck me. I was like, well, this dude, I was so proud of the fact that he had that. Yeah. And then for him to be like, to go and get that second job.
Which was Jersey Mike's.
Yeah. I had no questions after that. He clearly knew what he didn't want to do.
Huh.
So cool. Now let's get started on what you do want to do. Huh. And he really, the work ethic has been really, do you know when I told him he had to move out? So he comes back.
You told him he had to?
Yeah.
Why?
Because here's the deal. If you're in college and you come home, yeah, man, you got a place. If you're a grown up in the workforce, well, those people don't live in my house. And he wanted to be a grown up in the workforce, well, then you got to go do that. You know?
How'd you feel about that? Were you ready?
I think it was definitely time for me to get out. The one semester of college for me was nice to have my own space, and it was definitely time for me to go, I definitely don't want to live in the house anymore.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was like, yeah, really, man? Like, that was kind of quick.
Here's the thing. I knew that it was going, especially for him, it was going to be good for him. But
right.
there's no way you're going to convince somebody who's living at their parents' house that out there is better. It's just not.
No, not in this city.
Not in this, right? And
Expensive ass
especially not
city.
right now.
Yeah,
Fuck
right.
that.
Yeah.
So,
Fuck
and this
that.
was a couple years back, but I was like, get out there. And do you remember the video you sent me?
Yeah, the very first day I was living on my own, I went grocery shop, or they went grocery shopping with me and just grabbed some stuff. And I remember taking a video and pouring my milk into my cereal, and then pouring a beer into my bong, taking a bong rip and drinking the fucking beer out of the bong after, and eating sugar cereal. And I said, you know what, man? That's what it's like to live in my house. I get sugar cereal if I fucking want.
Yeah, that
Because
was the first video.
He
And I
wouldn't let
was
me
like,
eat
yeah.
any sugar cereal in the house growing up. So no soda,
Ever?
no sugar cereal.
Wow.
No, there was never anything that was like,
You-
maybe
you-
like,
it
there was
was
like
the
ice cream sandwiches.
Biggest candy drawer you've ever seen.
Oh, the candy drawer. It's Halloween candy from God knows
The
how long.
80s.
Yeah, but it's like every
no,
year.
that's not true. Your mom used to redo the candy drawer all the time.
To me, it just felt like the same Halloween candy. Just like our leftover Halloween candy from that year. And when it ran out, luckily it was a couple months before Halloween. So we're like, all right, we just get to fill that back up again.
No, we
Shit.
didn't. I didn't grow up like that with sugar cereal and all that stuff. And I didn't have any soda in the house or
No.
anything like that.
No.
No.
That was the way it was. We didn't have a microwave for fucking 8 years.
Well, that was your mom.
Right, but that's my point. My point. This is we didn't have. We had to, and then when we got it, we had to put it in the garage.
Yeah.
She didn't want it in the kitchen.
Why? She worried or
She
she just like, we're cooking.
she just doesn't. She's like, look, none of that extra. If whatever that's cooking is cooking me too.
Yeah.
So put it outside.
Yeah, that was.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. Who cares?
Yeah.
I would go out to my garage
yeah,
and
man.
microwave some pizza or
If I
something.
had a
Yeah.
there was
Yeah,
a beer
man.
fridge out
Yeah,
there.
fuck yeah. That's
Come
why
on.
I'd smoke and eat my shit. Yeah.
Man, I went 8 years without a
How
microwave.
come we
The
don't
minute-
come inside anymore?
Yeah, yeah.
TV's in here. Yeah, the microwave's out here.
Yeah, exactly. I got a little futon out here.
Yeah.
actually.
The minute she told us we were
Yeah.
getting a microwave again,
Hey,
I
can
was
you
like,
knock before you come out here?
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, by the way, what age were you cognizant of me? I wanted to use that word in this.
Good job.
Thanks.
You got it
of,
in.
of me smoking weed.
I think that time we were walking rock, and I told you that
Oh yeah.
we were walking the dog.
How
and
old are you?
16, probably
Okay.
probably 16. We're walking the dog, and we're out. It's probably like 9:30 or 10, and we're out walking. And I decide, this is a great time for me to tell my dad that I started smoking weed a little while ago, because I tell him everything, and it's just we have a good relationship, and I think that this is appropriate, and I don't want to do it in front of both of them. I want to do it in front of one of them and see how they react instead of getting all of the fire at once in case it was bad. So we're out walking, and I'm like, hey man, so I don't know. I think this might be a good time to tell you that I started smoking weed a little while ago. And he goes, okay. And I go, okay. And he goes, yeah, can we just not do this though while I'm super fucking high? Can we talk about this
I told him, like,
tomorrow?
Can we talk about this tomorrow? I'm pretty high.
Yeah. He was
So you
super.
were more lenient on marijuana than sugar.
Yep.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Here's what I was. Well, by the way, I still am. Like I smoke weed, and I would tell you right now, sugar's worse for you than weed.
Yeah.
I agree.
Absolutely.
I do,
Yeah.
I think that's proven.
But also for me, and I told him this, I would prefer you didn't drink or smoke. I would prefer that, but I also told him, I live in reality. I don't live in ideal world where you're just going to be perfect so my thing was like, there's zero excuse for you to ever being in a car with someone who's drunk.
Yep.
With Uber, and I was like, this is the money for Uber whenever you need it. Zero excuse.
Yeah.
If I find that shit out. And I would just tell him also, he would ask me questions. There was never any booze in the house because mom drank, biological. So I was like, we're not going to do that here. And Beth's not a drinker and I'm not a drinker. But as he got older, he saw that I smoke. I mean, it's hard to miss that I smoke.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
When by the way, even when I didn't, and when I told you I was going for a walk, and I was like, yo, I'm going to 7-Eleven, and I think we had like a small telekinetic thing early on, because when I was like, yo, I'm going for a walk, he'd be in the dark in his room, and my mom and him were watching TV, and all I hear is, get me some cookies, just from the fucking bed. And I was like, yeah, you got it. Like in my head, and I walk out and I go, what a fucking high ass. Like, are you serious? Just screaming from it. And then he texts me and he would text me and also go, and a couple bags of Swedish fish. And then I get 7 texts on the 5-minute walk to
Yeah.
7-Eleven.
Nutter butters. Mom wants nutter butters.
Do you remember 37 things that he wanted? It was fucking ridiculous.
Do you remember when I was super high in my room and I just texted you, make me a sandwich? And you were like, what? I could hear him screaming, what? What are you saying? I'm like, make me a sandwich.
I remember one time you poked your head out and you were like, yeah, I'm too high. I'm just going to sit in here for a little bit. Bring me these 4 things and don't come the fuck in. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, it
and I
was,
was like, what?
There were some high nights. But when he got older, for me, it was, I can't be who I am in public and then deny it in private. Do you know what I mean? There was just no way that could happen. So
yeah, I've seen my share of the clean comedians who then, I'm like, you fucking smoke weed and drink and fist fight and shit? But you're up there with all your G-rated shit, huh?
Yeah.
Interesting. I am who I am.
I am who I am.
Absolutely.
And so I never put a good or bad on who you are. This is just who I am.
Yeah, I agree.
And
I don't judge. But.
Yeah, but like for me, it was like, instead of like hiding the weed, basically you saw me never even, I don't touch weed before 8 p.m. When he asked me about it, I was like, yeah, I do my work. It's like a glass of wine for me. And if I don't do my work, I don't smoke the weed. That's what it is for me.
It's a reward.
Yep. And it's like the glass of wine. And so, that's why I told him.
The only green that comes first is money.
Yeah.
If anything gets in your way of making that, it's a fucking problem.
That's wrong. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, man. But I will say also, like, his willingness to talk to me about, like, I told you the taking acid story where he told me.
I don't remember.
I said to him, I go, hey man, and I was looking for some new stage stories. I go, what else you got? What can you tell me that I don't know? And he was like, did I ever tell you that story about when you and mom were out of town and I took acid with a bunch of friends? I'm like, no. And he goes, okay.
Do you still have to talk in the voice while I'm right here? Like, do you still have
right
to fucking
there.
imitate me while I'm right here? If you
It's
want
just
me to
natural.
tell it, I'll tell the story in my fucking voice.
You're the
and
guest.
not have you
This
go,
is the sidekick
into
over
the
here.
fucking
Let
mic the
him
whole time.
tell his version of this story. And imitate him.
Oh no. Yeah, I would like
The
to.
only imitation I have of him is me screaming into the mic because that's what he sounds like when he laughs. Example A. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. I remember one night, me and a bunch of friends got some really interesting stuff from our guy. I remember this was the night that we went to his house, and this is the first time I'd ever seen like the acid in a liquid form. I only ever gotten the tabs or all that. I'd never seen it in the liquid form that you can put on whatever you want. So we walked in and he had Altoids for us, 6 of them, and he double dosed a couple of them, gave them to him. And just also side note, this other guy came in and bought 2 Sour Patch Kids with the same thing. And then he was like, hey, can I get a roadie? And I was like, how do you get a roadie of acid? This dude stuck out his tongue and this dude dropped 4 drops on his tongue. And I was like, my man, are you going to get home? And he goes, I'm 20 minutes away. We'll find out. And I was like, oh my.
He's about to go to another dimension. Fuck home.
God.
He's about to go to another dimension, bro.
He already looked ripped out of his mind when he walked in the door anyways. And I was like, well, good luck to you, man. Holy shit. I'm not going to do that. But
a roadie, 4 drops of acid.
Yeah, I was
it's
like,
that ain't a roadie.
That's spacey.
Yeah,
that's
another
roadie
gallon.
is
That's a different planet.
That's a gallon.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. Never in my right mind would I do that. But then we head back, and there's probably 3 of us. And the night goes on. I had like a couple naps here and there, but pretty much I was up for about 52 hours straight. I had a concert on that Saturday, too, that I went to on the tail end of it. That
I got to tell you. Okay.
was ridiculous. But I remember kind of going to sleep for a little bit on Friday night, waking up that next morning. For some reason, there was a pizza guy from Domino's sitting in the living room. And I was like...
Still there.
Just sitting there.
He was he had just like woken up. And I was like, hey, man.
He woke up?
Yeah, I was like...
Wait, the pizza guy
spent the night. And so I'm talking to him and I go, man... I'm like, what the fuck are you doing here?
All those other pizzas were late.
And he goes, well, we partied last night, right? And I go, you weren't on acid. And he goes, no, just you 3. And I go, oh, okay, good. Because I don't want to be responsible for that shit. And he goes, and I go, but also, thanks for not fucking the house. You got to go. And he's like, what? And I go, you're a fucking stranger in my house.
For real.
In my parents' house. Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I thought you guys were cooler than that, this and that, this and that. And I was like,
What else did he want to do,
Yeah.
man? The party's over,
you wanna
bro.
fucking-
Get the fuck back to
You're
Domino's.
a pizza, man.
Yeah, fucking
Bounce.
right. And I was like, man, I don't know what you
I
want
thought you
from
were
me.
cooler than that.
Yeah.
He just spent all night with you.
Yeah, and I also
He's
looked
like,
at
I
him.
thought we was both Sagittarius, man. What the fuck's going on?
Remember that long talk we had last night?
Yeah.
No, dude, I do not.
And then I looked at him and I go, and by the way, you might want to go ask for your fucking job back.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
or go find another one. Like, good luck to you, man.
Dude,
It was fucking
do you remember when you were,
ridiculous.
okay, he was 13 or 14. And Beth and I, see, when you ground your kids, you're usually grounded. Beth and I had these plans, but he had done some shit and I had to ground him. But Beth was like, we're not canceling these plans. And I was like, oh. I think we were out of town.
Oh, this was 16, by the way. I was in high school.
Okay. So we're out of town, Beth and I got a text from a friend of mine, Tommy Pope, was a comic in New York. And he goes, hey, I go, yeah. And he goes, when Instagram had like a front page, he goes, go on Instagram's front page. I go, why? He goes, you might recognize somebody. So he was grounded. And the deal was, look, man, we're going out of town, but like, I'm checking in. Your hair, my brother's going to swing by. If you're not here when they swing by, you know, you're grounded. Because he had been grounded for an entire summer before. He came home from school, put his book bag down, walked into his room, and didn't come out until fucking September. So he knows that, like, when we say don't, or you get in trouble.
Like, this is like being at mom's.
Yeah.
I'll be Karen's.
Yeah. So he goes, here he is. Lil Jon?
Lil Jon's kid.
Lil Jon's kid
went to my high school.
And had a 16th.
Lil Jon?
Lil Jon. Lil Jon Jr.
Lil Jon Jr.
Yeah, Lil Jon Jr.
You want to know what his actual name was, though? His name is Slade.
So Slade.
Cool name.
That is a
Front
good
page Instagram. This kid at Lil Jon Jr.'s birthday party.
Grounded?
Holding up his phone. Hey! Dancing around.
At OHM nightclub in Hollywood.
This dude. He
What
drove
a
my
time,
car
yeah.
there.
You would never get caught in the 80s on
This
some
dude,
shit like that.
this dude, he got in my, I go, how'd you get there? He goes, well, I drove your car. I'm like, you took my car? He was like, yeah. How else was I supposed to get there? I'm like, you weren't supposed to get there. You were grounded. He was like, yeah, I was willing to take the risk on this one. And he did.
Worth it. Very worth it. Whole lot of fun. I was there for a good portion of time, and it was so
honestly,
much fun.
if Tommy hadn't called, you'd have got away with it.
Yeah.
And guess what? I still got away with it. You know why? Because I still went to the party.
He did. He went. He
Doesn't
got away
matter.
with it. You
Didn't
found out.
Yeah,
He got away with it.
You found
though.
out after the fact I
Yeah.
had posted it, which means I already won because I was already at the fucking party.
I mean,
It didn't matter what happened after. I succeeded with the
He
mission.
is right about that.
I don't like
The
the way this
outcome didn't
conversation's
matter.
going.
He's right about that, though.
The outcome,
He did get
the
away
outcome
with it.
didn't matter. The mission was successful. Whatever came after and repercussions, I was willing to deal with.
Ryan, do you know what he said to me the other day? He was like, hey, we were talking about money. I go, and I gave him a whole money talk. He goes, you giving me a money talk? And I go, yeah. And he goes, all your jokes are about me. I'm the indirect breadwinner of this family.
That's the truth. So you should be getting a cut.
Facts.
Yeah.
Indirect
You
breadwinner. I was
should.
like, all right, dude.
Yeah, directly out of my ball bag, motherfucker. Okay. All right, I want to wrap this up, but I want to ask a couple of questions. So, first of all, I got a little extra love for single parents, not just single dads, but moms too. Anybody that's out there doing it and really putting it all in, you know, I got
Absolutely.
a special love for you for that. So,
Thank you.
You're welcome, and you've done obviously a great job. You guys seem super close. I obviously also it wasn't always easy. Do you want kids? Do you know yet?
I do want kids because, you know, for me, one of the biggest people I look up to, not height wise, but is
Okay.
Look down a lot of
yeah, most of the time is him. And so for me, you know, a lot of people don't want kids because they're scared because they don't want to do what their parents did to them, right? But it's funny because I want to have kids for that reason because I want to be the dad that he was for me. I want to be.
Come on, man.
I want to be the type of person that my kids look up to, and so I definitely want to have kids. I'm in no rush. Let me reiterate that. No rush.
Fair enough.
But definitely excited to be a father.
That's really awesome. That's very nice. Do you think you're the type of guy that could take in someone else's kids?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And love them the same.
100%.
Good man.
That
So none of this gives you reservations about being parent. You'd rather be and embrace the way your father was, even with all the hardships and everything, than be the way your mom is.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, your biological mom is.
Yeah, absolutely. I would. I want to take what I learned from both sides, though. I want to take what I learned from her, which is what not to fucking do, and I want to take what I
exactly.
learned from him and my mom, and know what to do, and go and use that and apply that to however I raise my kids.
Awesome. All right. So I ask every first time guest, and I'm going to just ask you this. I didn't tell you this at the top, and it's I'm pretty interested because what'd you say, 24?
24, yeah.
So I always ask advice everyone would give to their 16-year-old self. That's only 8 years ago for you. So I'm curious if you think back on what was going on in your life specifically around that time. What advice 8 years later would you give to your 16-year-old self? Because I'm going to bet my ass 8 years from now, it's not the same thing you would have told yourself back then.
I would probably say stop taking everything so serious. Because at 16, I still was very, I cared a lot about what people think and what people thought, and it was very detrimental to me. Like when I'd ask girls certain questions about what their type is or this and that, honestly, half the time I would get girls that would answer just to see if I would do whatever the fuck they said. They didn't care. They told me shit that was false.
You talking about girls you were dating?
No. Girls I was just trying to get to know. Like girls what type of guy are you looking for? Like that basic, what do you look for in a guy? Just kind of like.
And they would tell you
flirt.
to try to get you to cut your hair or do something.
Yeah, and just like trying me to change to fit a certain persona, like that Vine kid, or like all those things back in the day. Or those
that doesn't even exist anymore.
Exactly, and all the shirtless kids with abs and do all this and
the
be this,
model,
be athletic and like all these higher standards. And then for me, I would just tell myself, don't care so much about what other people think. You guys just got to start being yourself. You
do, and you got to be the best version of yourself because
100%.
No matter what, if you had an ass on your fucking shoulder, that's somebody's shit out there.
Absolutely.
What I'm saying? Somebody out there is like, that's my shit.
Yeah.
You know
what
I mean?
Ass on your shoulder?
I've been waiting my whole life for this.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter what you got.
Yeah.
It is somebody's shit
Absolutely.
out there. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you both. Thank you for coming on. Promote, again, everything you'd like to plug and promote, please.
Do your socials.
Instagram, Jake_Wolf. That's where I'm most active. I guess TikTok, if that's a thing here. It's Jake Wolf. And then
What do you
obviously.
mean by here?
I mean, he's calling you
He's
old.
calling both of us old.
Yeah,
Not
definitely.
just me, though. I felt that was here.
Well, I
Is
mean,
the-
listen, I heard it. I hear it all the time.
Yeah,
so
it's
now
not
he's
a
just
thing
yeah.
here.
I just.
You're right.
You're right. Yeah. When I picked him up at the airport, I gave him a hug, and I was like, "What's up, old man?" And he's like, "All right, man. Like, come on." And then obviously our podcast, Hey Man, is going to be out, and go check that out and go see what's up, and a lot more to come, hopefully.
All right.
Yeah, I will tell you, man. My favorite. He loves giving me shit. He was calling me Pops for a while.
I still call you Pops. It's your name in my phone, in all caps.
It is?
In all caps is Pops, and nothing else.
ComedianJoshWolf.com for tour dates. I'm out, guys. I'm out every weekend because my special came out on October 19th on my YouTube channel. So I'm out trying new stuff. And my live shows are now like interactive, weird, just happenings. If I'm in your city, I promise you, if you see two shows, it'll be two completely different shows.
Yeah,
It's two completely different shows. And so
I cannot promise you that same thing. If you luckily for you to stay for the second one, you go see the same shit.
So Josh Wolf Here for the Fun is on my YouTube channel. Check it out. And then check out our podcast, Hey Man.
And by the way, when he turned, I saved Pops for when he turned 50. When he turned 45, 46, I was like, I started thinking about it. I go, when he turns 50, his name's officially Pops.
You were planning that for 3 years?
Oh, way more than 4 years. Played that long game. I waited so long for that big 5-0. You know what the nickname when he turns 60 is? Gramps.
You're already Gramps, though.
I know,
I love it.
dude.
Yep.
I love it.
All
I
right,
love
man.
you guys.
Gramps
Thank you.
Thank you, dude.
Thank
Thank
you for
you, man.
coming on.
Thank you
and-
so much.
Yeah, for sure. I
was a
know
whole bunch
that's.
of fun.
Listen, I know it's not easy, man, but you're doing the right thing, and you're with one of the best. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you guys,
I appreciate
and
it.
thank you all as well. As always, Ryan Sickler on all social media, RyanSickler.com. We'll talk to you all next week.